Welcome once again. Yeah, we're back at it again since, you know, apparently drama never sleeps in the community. And I pretty much woke up with the entire feed or timeline regarding this situation, and honestly, it's this whole shit is insane. To be honest, it's just I'm not even sure what's happening, but here we are once again, and I'm about to tell you and inform you of what is currently happening. So, there has been also a video pretty much talking about the situation as well, with the whole chubby fit situation and etc. I will be uploading my previous stream on YouTube. I'm gonna edit it and simplify it, basically just toss it on YouTube for any explanation right there, so it's pretty much there. So and but yeah, let's get to it. So right now I pretty much want to start off with the whole thing that I bookmarked, just to pretty much just state the facts, what's currently happening and whatnot. Let's see if here it is. So once again, the whole situation about the user named KevXR, also known as Kevin, who has done rigging for the most popular VTubers such as Iron Mouse and whatnot. There are other mores, but I kind of forgot what their names is, and I've been doing YouTube uploads, but anyways, I digress. My point is, I will be doing a little cover up of what's happening right now, since there's a little bit of an update. Suika, who is a very popular artist who has also done Iron Mouse's model, as we can see here in this picture, she says, and I quote, "Yep, KevXR modifies models' proportions to force it to fit into his templates. I have firsthand worked on one of Nano's models, rigged by KevXR. Any new outfit did not line up with the model because he completely changed the position scales of the model in L2D." And Nanoliz, who is the who I suppose is a VTuber, they pretty much stated about the whole situation about this model, but Suika goes on and says, "I've sent the overlaps to Nano and it's up to her if she wants to post it or not, but the quote retweeted evidence already speaks for itself. It's normal that LTD models might not 100% line up with the original PSC due to copy pasting things from one side to the other, but that difference should be very slight, especially if you're an experienced rigger, because as we can see, we'll get into it later, but KevX is pretty much a rigger who has rigged for many years from now, I suppose, but we'll get to that later." And Myriad Rhea, a user, states, "Aren't the only things he has going for him that he's worked with big names, aka Mousy, and that he's fast and consistent? Since the last two are from over-reliance on templates, and the first solely because of the templates, what does he actually have going for him?" And Suika says, and I quote, "Sad thing is he is very skilled and can rig well. He just went into quantity over quality rigs to get as much money as he can before AI replaces him, apparently." And another user says under that retweet, "So basically it's the equivalent of factory making something versus handcrafting. Do everything to reduce the time and work needed, even if it reduces the quality, versus handcrafting something so that there is love put into the work and careful details can be seen, reducing errors." But yeah, mostly a lot of people are realizing the situation. Atlantic Prince states, "Most of the time he's getting shit over nothing, but this time he really fucked up. His clients are big names, some of them the very top. He has to deliver, there's no way around it. What does he expect? That none of the VTubers and their artists care for their copyrights?" Suika states, "I would say it's shit over nothing, but I understand it seems like nothing to people who don't know much about rigging or how to spot misstages and issues. But yeah, this time it's about something more serious. I wish he owned up to his mistakes without omitting a lot of details. And as we can see, there's more tweets about it as well, people tweeting, and they're pretty much tweeting about the whole thing about models and the rankings and how he delivers more and gets more but delivers less, such as the quality, which in reality a rigging for a model is everything. And the rigging pretty much brings the model to life. If there's something off about it, it's gonna show. And I'm already had a rig, as I mentioned in the previous stream. It's quite the hassle, to be honest, and I don't use Live 2D, so I'm not sure how Live 2D works. I work with Enochi, but rigging, it can be such a hassle, especially when it comes to rigging a model with a lot of layers and such. It's not really easy. But yeah, I did take some screenshots of some tweets and whatnot, but I'll also go to the tweets as well. I'm not sure if the tweets are deleted or changed, but we'll get to that in a moment. Oh boy, I'm having hiccups already. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the situation. Sorry, I didn't mean to get quiet all of a sudden. I'm currently checking my screenshots and see if it's all aligned. Alright. Let's go ahead and check other stuff about this entire situation. Alright, let's go to Nanoliz's quote retweet, or, you know, her tweet. So, Nanoliz says, and I quote, "I fucking hate this, because this should be the original chest and he modified it without my knowledge. I clearly state that I offer free fixing for the rigger until the model is done and good. If I suppose Nano is the one who created the PSD file and the art itself, which is why they're saying this. Let me go ahead and check. I suppose, well, considering they have a huge following and okay, they are an artist then. Alright. Anyways, they pretty much stated, "I clearly state that I offer free fixing for the rigger until model is done and good." And here we have a review of the rigging and how the necklace is not aligned with the other part of the necklace. So it does need some work. But I suppose they resized the chest area on how it looks like. It clearly here it looks like the chest is pretty bigger than it does look here in the picture. So they pretty much resized and changed the look on the chest area just to pretty much fit his entire rigging for the template. But we'll get into that as well. Also, welcome, Angel! Welcome! So, here's Kevin tweeting under this quote retweet that I found. And he says, he states, I love your work. I was not in direct communication with you, and I fixed the pro immediately after I noticed detaching because body X reverse is enabled and I forget to test it. I give you the reason about the boob shading with the video explanation, and I was willing to update it, and you said so too. I've been waiting for you to reply. For your reply. And Nano states, this is something you brought up because I questioned it. I was willing to fix it, but I personally just gave up. You're correct, but thank you for your service. This will never happen again. And Kevin retweeted saying, we collabed many times before and we are both satisfied with our results. I don't want this one time reason made you grow hostile on me. I worked hard on this model and I still love your work. At least we could be neutral. And other people pretty much states a lot of stuff underneath. Yoshi, if I assume that's how you pronounce it. You not only butchered the pearls, you enlarged her breast, removed half... Okay, so it was enlarged, I suppose. You enlarged her breast, removed half of the in-depth shadows that made it look 3D from the chest and clothing, and even the casting shadows on the hair strands. You modified the art heavily to make it fit your template. You reload your models. Okay, let's continue on. You reload your models into the same rigging file, delete the previous layers, and resize the model to fit the template. Just own up, man. There's nothing wrong about using your marine model as rig template, but lying about it and deceiving your clients and followers, plus charging a full rigging price for it is a different story. Which is true. He does rig 25... Sorry, my brain started loading there for a moment. He does pretty much charge 2.5k on the rigging. So Hellish Queen Rimami says his rigging standard, this isn't minor issues. Where's the repaint? Does he just not know how to rig a small chest? And I'm sure he doesn't want to get dragged into this, you know, parenthesis nows, but like it isn't her fight by this point. This is a PSA to those who spent 2.5k on this guy, and I will show you more. This is what will happen and what he means by minor changes. It's between these two. There's no communication, but she was supposed to know he did a pinned tweet. A pinned tweet that's how he communicated. He himself says there was no communication, but claims she agreed to fix the art to match what he decided. Why not DM her, start the communication? I gotta walk away, lol. So we're gonna read here. Consent. The client must be the copyright owner or an eligible copyright license user of the source artwork PSD, provided by the client or the original artist. Rigging is considered a derivative of the source art file. In most cases, KevXR will edit, repaint, and further layer the source of the artwork to be made applicable to the rigging standard. This may create minor visual differences compared to the original art due to the rigging technical limitations. By signing this contract, the client on behalf of themselves and the artist gives consent to KevXR to the modification of the source artwork PSD file. The client is advised to have the art file finalized and have all deliverable items listed above agreed upon before signing. PSD is a digital art format transmitted digitally only and does not have a physical presence. Oh my god, I almost tongue twisted myself. So pretty much this is this is quite something, to be honest. User named Vijan Yui on the VTuber says, I think it's crazy that he takes the right to say when your child commissions me, it automatically agrees for you, the artist, that changes are allowed, even no consent was given. I feel like there was no communication whatsoever, considering Nanoless, the artist, pretty much tweeted and quote retweeted, saying, I fucking hate this. You know, her art being changed for basically to make the job easier, even though it was not the exact same thing that was given. Like, I do get that rigging can be hard sometimes, and some things have to be enlarged or basically minimized or resized to fit the template, but at the same time, it could be manually rigged without using the template itself. It's best to kind of like just use the pearls and kind of rig it each one by one and keep the chest how it is and leave it rigged. Basically like re-rig it instead of using the template itself, because using the template can sometimes cause minor changes. I mean, not minor changes, but you know, it can cause some changes that might look weird. Right, so let's go ahead and look for the that one tweet he mentioned. Right, so he does put a video of, we'll go back to it, but we're gonna go a little bit back about it. And yeah, so he does state that he does have 6 years of experience and work full-time. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say before, because I did mention before that he does have a lot of experience about it, and I pretty much wanted to mention that bit.
¿Cómo se hizo?
Sorry about that. Let's see. So I did show this little tweet about how different Mayuri and the other female enemy model looks like, about the whole chubby fit and whatnot, the body size. So we have a clip of here, basically. Let's see. So this is a VTuber named Fans. They state, because she is just straight up not chubby dude, chubby fit isn't the thing. The word you're looking for is slim thick, if anything. It's not hard. It's not really hard. Even this is generous in terms of chubby, to be honest. But I didn't want to stray from the OG much. A little pooch never hurt anybody, which is what I said before. And honestly, from the different change from this one to the previous one, let me just pause it really quick. So this one is more of a chubby, which you can see the different detailings, how it's more shown that she looks much more chubbier. The detailing was missing and whatnot. This is considered chubby. And from the original, this is how it looks like, which is technically much more of a slim but thick. Marin Kitagawa? Okay, so that's her. I don't watch the anime, but I do want to watch more. And so Fangs the VTuber says, no one is saying you need to draw fat women. All people are asking is to use the use terminology to describe body types properly. Draw your skinny ladies all you want, dude. And Kevin says, night edit, well done. And so Kingu states, chubby fit is a thing. Is a thing. It's seen mostly in weightlifter or people who focus on muscle training, in specific like character does in Demon Slayer. I think the description was wrong, but saying that a body type doesn't exist is also just as incorrect when we have real examples. So here we have examples of Fangs VTubers basically looking for it. And they state, if you Google the term chubby fit, there is not a single woman under that search that looks like like the OG artwork. Examples included, I'll correct my statement, chubby fit is a thing, my apologies, but the artwork isn't, and that's more what I was explaining. So here we can see the pictures of the chubby fit, or how it would look like to be chubby fit. Let's see what else there is. Oh boy. So pretty much the person is being hated for doing the the body once again to make it look like a chubby or chubbier, which I suppose it's not really good. I mean, it's not good at all to kind of redraw the artist's drawing. It's pretty much disrespectful and whatnot. I mean, it's good to give inputs, but redrawing on the said drawing that the artist did, it's kind of it's kind of disrespectful. And honestly, I wouldn't want anyone to do that to my drawings as well. So it's kind of disrespectful to see some people doing this. And honestly, as much as the input is, you know, it's good to use input, whatnot, it's best if you just do it separately instead of actually changing the drawing itself, because it's just not right. It's the artist put a lot of work and effort into that, and just for you to change just minor details, it's not really, you know, it's disrespectful for the artwork and the artist itself. But I digress. The person did show a good example of what chubby might look like really well, and I actually like the detailing on how they changed the details and whatnot, regardless of me not liking how they actually use the image itself and change the model. But as I say, the details is really great. But yeah, let's continue on. So they said they will allow it and whatnot. And so a slimmer person, it's kind of weird considering in this video it shows that there's a lot of raking, as if there's a lot of belly fat, but once the model stops, she just looks slim, like really slim. Obviously, it shows that there's like a lot of separated layers to the body, like there's a different stomach layer, the navel, the torso, the waist. There's different layers to make the rigging more bouncy. But on how it bounces, it looks like as if it's someone chubby. There's not a lot of details to show once the model stops moving that has a lot of chub and fat to it. So it's kind of odd to... I don't know. I feel like it's odd considering it's a very slim model, as we can see here. This is the model. She looks slim, doesn't show that has a lot of fat to it, as we can see. It does have a different layer of the stomach and the navel and the waist and the torso. It's also separated. So it's kind of weird for me, I don't know, to see how it's rigged, like there's a lot of belly fat to it. But that's just my opinion, so... kind of weird. So this artist pretty much quote retweeted KevXR and says, it's about time people learn what chubby really means, which actually shows the chubby Miyuri. It shows detailing of the stomach fat and little, how do you call those? I guess you call them love handles, but it shows like fatty areas on the love handles and the stomach, the little pooch. There's also little fats on the arms, not too much, but it's a lot more thicker than the OG model that pretty much was referenced from. There's also more thickness to the thighs, and there's also like little lines to kind of show that there's, you know, what do you call those in English? I know that it's called I'm not sure if it's wrinkles. Is it wrinkles? I know it has a term for it, but I'll come back to it later. But it has a term for it. Shows the wrinkles, stretch marks. There you go, the stretch marks of the belly area. So if we go back, there's one. Sorry. Oh, it feels like I have a thorn in my throat. I guess I'm not fully healed from being sick. Sorry about that. But yes, let's go back. Here, Kevin finally admits and brags about it too, as well. He states, and I quote, "Yes, I'm bragging. I developed the most advanced template tool way ahead. This is just a small glimpse. It saves me at least 10 hours of work. Learn a tip and build your own templates and rigging styles. Riggers, pay your taxes and save for retirement before AI replaces us." Now, as much as I do want to say, and I agree that creating something from a template to save a lot of work, it's pretty much smart. It's working smarter and not harder, but at the same time it does also pretty much if the PSD model does not align with the template itself, it will have a lot of issues on the model itself. But that's just my opinion. It's fine if you kind of like use a template, but also check the details to see if there's something wrong about it and whatnot, regardless of, you know, of all of it. It's best to kind of like work everything one by one instead of just doing it all by once. Yes, it's smarter and it saves a lot of work, but it also reduces the quality, and it's kind of like, you know, you're pretty much getting quantity over quality kind of situation. But it kind of feels a little disingenuous also charging a lot for something sort of like this. And I will get to the whole model of Iron Mouse, of why I say it's a little disingenuous and how it kind of messes a little bit with the PSD file, to the point that it has to be, you know, matched to the set of the template of the rigging. Now, he keeps tweeting about it as well, saying everyone fight against AI, but no one wants to talk about AI seriously. Live2D probably has less 4 years of vitality before every AI generated anime image becomes self-animating and has real-time face tracking. The next generation who grow up with AI will not care. And also shows how the rigging looks with the said template. But yeah, that's how he uses the template and whatnot. And he says, skeleton rigging technique goes hard, still not near perfect and needs work. I am both an artist and technician. VTuber model quality standards have gone way up since early 2020. I will continue raising my commission prices each year and developing new tech to compete with AI. Alright. So he also states an apology to certain users, saying, "I want to apologize to Inobi's, Alien Mixture, Nini Macaron, Catboy Mac, Postworth Rights, Sylvie VT, and anyone else who may have been affected. I fully acknowledge my mistake and promise to never repeat it. I commit to upholding the high standard of professionalism and promise to never repeat it. I commit to upholding the highest standards of professionalism and strive to make things right." I don't know the VTubers, but it has to do with a tweet about the whole PSD files being leaked. So there has been a situation where I mentioned before that the CMO3 files were leaked on how he does rigging, which is, you know, it showed that he does use a template for the rigging, and we'll go on by that as well. He states, "I do sincerely apologize for the accidental leakage of PSD files during the transfer of source files. I was informed of this issue long time ago and have since quickly removed the affected files and ceased this practice. I was not technically aware of the implications during my early days experiment with Live2D. I apologize to the clients affected. Going forward, I have disciplined myself and am now fully aware of the significance of privacy and copyright." So that's why he apologized to certain users, I suppose, because their files, PSD files were pretty much leaked, which is their models, and it showed the leakage of of the rigging. And so he states, I will be unblocking most people who have criticized me lightly or harshly. I recognize that I have had issues with handling criticism, but I now understand that many of you come from a place of concern. I don't mean to be aggressive, and I hope we can still be friends. Which before we've seen some screenshots of people being blocked by Kevin X, and they were pretty much stating some like things such as, you know, doing some suspicious things with underage characters and whatnot. But yeah, he did block a lot of people, especially people who had nothing to do with the set artist itself. And I suppose he was just blocking people from looking up his name and people talking about him, and just blocked it to not see the criticizing situation and whatnot. So here we go. So Nanoless, who is the artist of the Iron Mouse model, or at least this one, he said, and I quote, "What you made me do," and shows how he had to, you know, work each pearls one by one to make the rigging as best as could, instead of changing a lot of things from the model itself. As we can see, it does show that there's a little bit of a, you know, from before it looks different, but this is how our work should be done with a lot of quality, even if it's one by one. Like, that's how you pretty much increase the quality of the model. I know it's a tedious task and whatnot, but I would rather, if it was me, I would work each thing one by one to make it look clean and look fantastic, rather than have it really done fast and you know, with not a lot of quality to it. But that's just my opinion, I suppose. But let's continue on. So as we can see, her breast is enlarged here, and here it's reduced, which looks a little different, but yeah, it looks very enlarged for some reason. Huh, interesting. But he tweets again saying, "To clarify, you asked me and I offered you..." Oh boy, the grammar. "To clarify, you asked me and I offered you video explanations on art fixes, and you agreed to update the art. However, I haven't received any response. I generally appreciate your art. There's no need for hostility." Here's what's weird though, and I do want to state, if he did offer a video and explanation of the changes needed, but she did not respond, and she did respond through a tweet about stating on how she disliked her art being changed, it kind of begs the question if he did actually went to her DMs and, you know, actually asked her genuinely about the whole situation.
Time to ride the moon into the dream realm.
Thank you for the follow, Malby 420. I see that, the 420. But yes, it's kind of begs the question if he actually went to her DMs and asked her about the whole situation. I did read some of it before, but I kind of did forget if it was actually stated. I think I did mention about a user stating that Kevin did pin his tweet about it, about, you know, offering a video explanation about it, but it was not on DMs. It was on publicly pinned tweets, which is odd for a way of communication, when in reality you don't receive notifications saying, "Hey, you got a DM about this person," saying, you know, insert subject. So it's kind of odd instead of going to her DMs. But I digress, and let's keep on going. So he does show the little video explanation of what he changed, and from what the model previously had before. As we can see, the chest was different, it was colored differently, it had some detailings and whatnot. And in his edit, the breast is pretty much enlarged and the shadows are removed and so forth. So it's quite the big change from what it previously was. So I'm gonna pretty much pause it here really quick and we're gonna see the changes. So as we can see, the pearls here is different from the previous one. The chest size is smaller. It does have some detailings in the middle of the chest. The pearls are aligned differently, and from his changed model, we can see that the hold on, let me see if I can, there we go. We can see that the pearls are aligned differently. Like, it's not how it previously was, which it went around like over to the below the arm. The chest is enlarged. We don't have the detailing between the cleavage area, which does not show the detailing of the cleavage. And we can see the breast lining here, which is enlarged, as well as the top of the dress is also changed to fit the rigging style of the said model. As we can see, there's no shadowing here. The shadow was pretty much removed in between the chest area. I suppose that's a little, yeah, that is the chest blush to give it a little coloring. It pretty much was changed. As we can see, there's like the pearl did go underneath near the arm, like sort of below the armpit, and it was changed to kind of fit the rigging, which not many might see it, but it's pretty much a big change. And also, I did kind of see the shadowing of the hair was also removed from the previous one. There's like a little shadowing of the pigtails showing in the shoulder, but in the changed one, the changed version, the shadows of the hair is gone, which is also another detailing that was changed a lot. So we have the pearls kind of moved to an angle area, which is not like literally underneath the armpit on how it was previously. The breast was pretty much increased, the size was increased. The shadowing of the detailing of the chest was also removed, and some other stuff was changed. So shadowing, pearls, chest, detailing. I suppose there's a lot more, but I kind of missed it. Oh, the top was also changed. I suppose there's more. Trying to see it back and forth. Also, the detailing of the shadow of the top was also changed from what I see here, because it kind of shows here. So the detailing also tells on how the breast size looks like. In this one, it looks more of a smaller. I'll give it a, let's say this breast size is around from B to C size on this image here. But in the image here, it looks like a D to a larger size, to a triple D, which is a different details that can be widely seen, especially if the rigging and the movement shows that her chest is enlarged. So there's that. Which is pretty much drastic, but at the same time it shows here the detailing of the rigging. As we can see, it looks very large, the chest size. The rigging is good, I'll admit. It's really great. But to change the art a lot to the point that to actually have it fit with the template itself, it feels like a little bit of a slap towards the artist itself, because it's like, you know, the artist worked hard on it and whatnot, and having it not discussed through DMs and through tweets, it's, you know, it's kind of shameful, to be honest. I feel like there's not a lot of communication through here, but, you know, I'm not gonna fault mostly on Kevin, but he does have some things he needs to work on as well. Let me see the screenshots that I took. But yeah, pretty much the screenshots are the same things that I went through and read through. Rev says Desu actually also had a video made stating about what's the situation and whatnot. There's some things I do not agree with him, and we'll pretty much go over about the video in a bit. So give me a moment and bear with me while I look for the video itself. Give me one momento. There's like a lot of things that a lot of people are doing and whatnot. It's whew. It's a lot of tea, I'll say that. Right.
Woo.
Alright, here we go. Also forgive the ads and whatnot. I know there's a lot of ads.
My level is still.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to cover some big VTuber and art related drama, but first it is the end of the month and that means my advanced GG code is now boosted until August 4th. Information for this will be in the pinned comment. Artist Twitter users. He is someone we have talked about multiple times on this channel. We're going to do it once again today. So Kevin is an artist who makes VTuber assets and also rigs VTuber models, including for some people
I'm making it
who
slower.
are very popular like Mint Maid, Mataracon, and even Iron Mouse. And recently, Kevin made this post, which would spark a ton of drama. So it's
So this is what I mentioned before about the whole situation. That's what started the whole conspiracy. But he goes along about saying that this tweet alone is not the only thing that wanted to spark hate towards Kevin. And honestly, there's a lot of tweets and quote retweets about it, and people pretty much bashing Kevin about the whole art and whatnot. But not just the art in, itself, but his assets and whatnot, which Rev will pretty much state in the video. But I don't think it's like that's the whole reason why he's getting bashed. There's some other reasons as well, as we pretty much saw the artist Nanoless, who created the art. And not only that, but another artist, Suika, which she's also very popular, and she also created another Iron Mouse model. But we'll continue on and see, pretty much listen to the video.
captioned, "Do you like Chubby Fit Mitsuri?" And you can see his character right here, obviously inspired from Demon Slayer, but there'd be a lot of controversy surrounding this use of the phrase chubby fit and what that means. And Kevin would clarify, saying this is what he really meant by the use of that phrase. Basically, it's a skinny girl who has a little bit of a tummy or thicker thighs.
As we saw on the tweet before, chubby fit is not technically, I'll say it many times, honestly, people don't know how to explain the whole anatomy of a female, to be honest. Chubby fit is not exactly a skinny girl with, you know, a little meat to it. Chubby fit, as we saw, it's a woman who's chubby and she's also fit. Obviously, I don't believe that term should be used correctly for a woman who is slim yet thick. Like I said before, the pooch that women have, that little fat there, it's normally perfectly fine for a slim girl to have, regardless of them having a toned stomach or pooch, or, you know, a pudgy pooch, like having a little fatty pooch. I myself have it, and it's hard to, I've pretty much done a lot of workouts to kind of tone it down, and honestly, it just made me grow some abs, but it did not remove the pooch. It's absolutely normal, it's natural for a woman to have a pooch, but it is not chubby fit, because it's just how a woman's body works. It's basically a fat area where it protects the uterus and unborn children. But I digress. Let's keep going.
However, you can see that there's nearly 4,000 quotes, most of them negative, on this post. What is going on here? Well, this isn't just about criticism of that use of the phrase chubby fit. This goes way beyond into dogpiling and virtue signaling about this post and the artist who made it. And here's a good example of how disingenuous and hypocritical a lot of this outrage is. You have this VTuber saying, I probably got blocked for politely asking him not to advertise sexual VTuber assets using an underage character to model for it, you know, so people don't accidentally promote / like sexualizing underage characters. And of course, Curry Renji here with the great screenshots. Your likes may be private, but screenshots are forever. And as he points out on this VTuber's other account, they do furry art, and they also have underage characters being sexualized in the likes of that account too.
Okay, I am going to say this is gonna be a really hot take, and this is my opinion, and this is what I like and dislike. I heavily dislike Lolly. Lolicon, I don't like that stuff because it's like, yes, people put the whole statement of if you look at the drawing itself and you think of a child before, then something's wrong with you. Here's the thing. If the drawing itself, I'm gonna put a screenshot, hold on. Because a lot of people like to say this, and honestly, it's just, it annoys me at times, but also it kind of puts a big question to the person saying, if you look at this drawing and you think of a child, then something's wrong with you. I'm gonna use a really great example that people pretty much have used a lot. But yeah, let me grab a quick screenshot of it. Alright. This is a perfect screenshot. Sorry, I was taking a screenshot. Give me a momento so I can show it. If I can. Alright. So, I have a representation of an anime model. As we all know, she's Nahida from Genshin Impact. Now, bear with me. She is 500 years old. Without a description of the said character, what would you look at? The first thing that you would see this model. They look like a child. They are small. They literally look like a child. I don't see nothing that resembles of something that an older model would look like. And yet, in her lore and story in Genshin Impact, she is 500 years old. She is also known as Lord Rukkhadevata, or bless her Lord. Bless her Lord Kusanali, but she's from Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. She's a god, or an archon in this case. But it doesn't change the fact that she still looks like a child. Regardless of age, you can say, oh, but she's a demon that's 9,000 years old. Yeah, but she still looks like a child. Hello? Kind of raises a little bunch of red flags over my head. So, yeah, just saying, because she is 500 years old and older, it does not mean that, you know, it'll make her look less like a child. So, if there's underage characters, doesn't matter if it's just a drawing. It doesn't matter if it's a reference of an anime. If they're underage, I don't like that shit. I don't let that shit slide. Not even in my Discord server. I don't like that shit. And I've stated it many times in my Discord server. I do not want underage lewd drawing. Now, I normally don't like to look at the oh my god, my Spanish accent came out. I don't normally like to look at the not safe for area in my Discord server, because honestly, just looking at that just gives me a headache. And not only that, it also makes me feel disgusted because I have to look at all of that shit in order to moderate it. But I digress. Just because you look at art that resembles an underage character, it kind of says a lot. And honestly, this is a whole shit that I don't go for, especially when it comes to lollies. Now, Nahida may look like a lolly or fit in the category of a lolly, but honestly, I just don't like lollies. Yes, lolly is also referenced as a petite, small woman. But there's a huge thing of when people refer to lolly. Lolly can mean many things. It can also mean the fashion style of Japan, where there's this little cute, adorable outfit that's like a dress, a short dress, like around the thighs. It's like a poofy dress, and it has a lot of detailing, a lot of ribbons, a lot of frills and whatnot. It's a lolita outfit, or also known as a lolly dress. That's also one term that can be said about lolly. There's also the term of the whole petite small women. I don't like to consider myself a lolly because regardless of me being a small petite woman, I'm just a small petite woman. Just small and petite. That's it. Not a lolly, small petite. And there's also the lolly type of, you know, where people like to post a lot of suggestive and lewd stuff of a small lolly that can look like Nahida here. That stuff I do not like, and I don't like for many reasons. It's something that I despise and I look down upon. But let's continue on, and I digress from the whole situation. So, let's continue on with the video. Regardless of, you know, whatnot. Let's just continue on.
Making them a giant hypocrite. But here is the top replies to Kevin's post. You can see this is not curated, this is just the top group here, all of them having thousands of likes, and all attacking the same thing. They're all saying this character is not chubby. And one thing you can say is right off the bat, they're arguing over a phrase he didn't use. He used the phrase chubby fit, but every single person here has removed fit from that equation, and now they're arguing about what is actually chubby. You can see some people have a very subjective view of what makes a character chubby. Some people in the quotes are trying to claim this is chubby. But if you look at this comment right here, I want to single this one out for a second.
That is not chubby, that is actually fat. That is just straight out fat. That is not chubby, that is being fat. Almost close to obese, but let's continue on.
They say, this body's not chubby, it is a normal and healthy body. Labeling it as such perpetuates harmful stereotypes and unrealistic beauty standards. Posts like this are the reason so many people have body issues. Now, I get what they're trying to say here, and I mean this with like no flame. I'm not trying to flame this person, but the second you start comparing your real life body to an anime character, you lost. Like, you're gonna...
Alright, so this is the one part here that I disagree, because it's like, it doesn't matter whether it's an art form or whatnot. You're basically drawing a body that looks and represents a woman. Now, it's been done many times across the years. Even historical paintings, it has happened. We can see that shapes and sizes of women, even way before the whole stereotype of the body type of a woman has started way before in the Victorian era as well. That's why women used to use corsets to basically slim down their figures, because it was something to appease men. It was supposed to appease men and basically find a woman attractive. They wouldn't like women with small figures, like a slim waist that was, you know, below 9 inches. And honestly, one, it was unhealthy. Two, it was pretty much a huge high standard of a beauty, you know, view. It doesn't matter if it's art or whatnot. Before, they would draw women with small petite figures using a corset. Women looking at that drawing, they were like, oh my god, I wish my body was like that. It doesn't matter if it's a drawing or not, whether it's a picture, a drawing, or a painting. Women would look at it and they would start doubting and second guessing on how they would look like. Now, the reason why I disagree, it's because even though now we have a lot of technology, we have pictures with painting and coloring in it, and we can actually see a person through a picture and their body type, it doesn't matter. Even in magazines, there are women that has that type of body, and people would like look at themselves and be like, oh my god, I wish I had that body, or oh my god, I look fatter, like that's the body I strive for. Women have that complex. Even myself, we do have complex, and it also creates eating disorders, which is heavily commonly found in modeling industries too. A lot of models have eating disorders, including K-pop idol, female K-pop idols. And it's something that they have to go through because a certain beauty standard they have to follow, even if it's one that sometimes it did not fit their body type or whatnot, and it would be hard on them. Now, people do work hard to get a certain body type, and once they get it, I pretty much applaud them because it's like they worked really hard for it. But looking at something that represents a woman's body and represents the anatomy of a woman's body. When they look at it and they look at themselves, obviously it's going to spark some doubt and a complex issue of how they look, of their image, of their body. It's normal. It doesn't matter if it has to be an anime character. Literally, anime characters may look like real humans. You'd be surprised. Even VTubers look like their own VTuber model. And they're a basically anime character. And, yeah, just saying that exactly what Rev says, I highly disagree. And, you know, but I digress. Let's keep moving forward.
Gonna be disappointed. They're not realistic. Of course, they're hyper fit or made in a certain way because they're drawings. You can make them as perfect as you want. So this is a bad standard to work with. But while some users had some, reasonable attempts at an argument here, like you're not trying to be super.
Even if you create the anime as a perfect or a perfect view of how you want it, you still use a reference of an anatomy body, which comes from a human. So, you know, you still use a human body in order to find a reference, and then you shape it and resize to how you want it to look. But I digress. Let's continue on.
Disrespectful. If you go to the quotes, you see crazy stuff. You see dozens of posts like this. This user saying, I think we should kill all men at this point. This person saying, game end yourself. This person saying, I'm going to take my life in front of you. This person saying, chubby in quotes, just tell me to game end myself. This person saying, this is why women keep getting diagnosed with eating disorders. So you look at these.
See, this is what I mentioned before earlier. This kind of situation does spark eating disorders towards women and whatnot. But I digress. Let's continue on forward. But at the same time, I do not agree people sending death threats about that situation. Like, it's a little bit too overboard, but at the same time, I realize that Twitter does go overboard about situation like this, and it's honestly disgusting seeing people like send death threats to something that has sparked a controversy and basically creating an entire hate group towards one person who made a mistake is a little too overboard. And to be honest, it's stupid. It's really stupid. Because one, it's a drawing, but two, it does also have to do with a really sensitive topic and subject about what chubby looks like. It's about beauty standards and whatnot. But I digress. Let's continue on forward.
These quotes, and there's dozens like that, and you're like, wait a second. This isn't just about criticism of the term chubby fit and how it was applied to that character. There's something going on here.
It did start with a chubby fit, and that's why, at least in my point of view, this is how the whole entire situation started, to be honest. But let's continue on.
That's way beyond this. And this whole thing, the amount of reaction that Kevin has gotten for this post is the result of dogpiling. People want to dogpile in because it is the flavor of the month. Going after Kevin is something that people see as popular and safe, and they do it for clout and attention. So it's...
Everyone does a lot of things for clout and for views. Let's be honest. This is pretty much normal in the entertainment industry or area. A lot of people like to find some stuff that makes it, if it's something that's on demand, people will go for that immediately. They will start doing work that has to do with that certain thing that's on demand. Right now in the situation, Kevin is a pretty popular topic right now happening in Twitter or X, and it's something that's really on demand. Obviously it's going to gain some attraction and some views, but a lot of people do that. It's something normal. That's how you gain following. That's how you gain larger community. But to say that people are doing this for clout and chase, it's true. And it's pretty much the same thing with covering the drama of the issue. You're basically getting clout from it too. Even I could say that I'm probably getting clout from it too, regardless of my small following. But I doubt it. Let's continue on, considering I don't receive a lot of views for a small streamer. But let's continue on.
It's very obvious, and it's reflected in a lot of the responses like this. So this user captured a screenshot of a tweet that's now deleted from another VTuber where they say, I am begging the VTuber community to stop using him, Kevin, for rigging, just because of Iron Mouse. I blocked him so long ago for the whistle, and now this stuff comes up. And we're gonna hear a lot of conversation about this whistle asset in just a second here. So here's another VTuber saying this. The chubby model drama with Kevin is pretty obvious. He's trying to distract with his new Mitsuri model, so everyone forgets about his previous lolicon models / assets he's done in the past. Like, remember the R-word whistle assets? Why make that in the first place? And then this user says his work is abhorrent. People need to be shamed for stuff like this. So they're referring...
Okay, so... yeah, yikes. his previous lolicon models. Yeah, let's continue on.
To an asset that Kevin made a few months ago, this Sus Buzzer asset. So what's this all about? Well, this came from the music
From the art, he means grape, as in the fruit grape. You know? Grape. Grape.
video Lolly
But just remove one letter to it. And that's what it means.
God Requiem by Shigeru Ui, a very popular and well-liked VTuber. This video that the asset is inspired by has over 100 million views on YouTube. But people are not calling out Shigeru Ui, who made this video, and this buzzer that inspired the asset, because that would get them backlash. Instead, they attack Kevin for his asset that's inspired by this video because
Okay, so the whole thing about the that becoming an asset, I don't think it should be something that should be criticized harshly. Like, it's an asset. Someone made it in a video, and make it into an asset is not that bad. It can really make some controversies and situations that might be like, but it's weird to make it. I mean, I suppose there's a lot more weird assets, VTuber assets that it's created, and it's mostly not safe for work ones too, as well. Like, so making the a buzzer asset is not that weird. I suppose I see it as fine. I mean, honestly, I would use that. If someone was weird in my chat, I would absolutely use that shit and be like, you're being weird. Weird. People, he's weird. Kind of situation, you know? It brings attention to weirdos. But I digress. Let's keep on going.
they think they can say whatever they want about Kevin because they want to join in on the dog pile. And it's very obvious their standards are very skewed. They will not call out Shigeru Ui, the video that has over 100 million views, but they will very happily call out Kevin. Now, continuing on in that conversation, this person says, yeah, hope he stops getting work from Bishoujo at this point. This is disgusting. And then the V2 responds saying, it would be so embarrassing for @IronMouse tagging her to get any other assets or models from him when they have such better choices in artists and riggers. So here is the issue here. It's not just about fair criticism of the term chubby fit, like I said. Now they're trying...
It does have to do with it because this is the first thing that sparked it as well. Yeah, some people does have some beef with him about other things, but it does have to do with that at the start. It sparked the controversy, and it's the thing that started this whole situation. And so people started digging up situations about him from before, and they also put it out, and during the whole blast of the drama of the chubby fit. And also trying to make an artist and rigger try to lose their jobs is, come on, people try to earn a living. Artists barely makes a living when it comes to a situation like this, and riggers also, I suppose it's also included with the whole artist situation. But trying to remove someone from their source of income it's honestly disgusting. It's basically you want their lives to be absolutely destroyed and bashed for something that happened. Obviously, I don't agree with what happened as well, because it's like, it could have been done better, but it's not to the point that I want their lives to be miserable. It's stupid. It's basically bullying, and that shit needs to be stopped. But let's continue on. And the whole situation about tagging IronMouse to this situation, I'm pretty sure she already sees it enough. Tagging her to the situation even more would probably make the situation even worse. Like, have some consideration.
To literally hurt his bottom dollar. They're trying to hurt him financially by shaming people like IronMouse so they won't work with him anymore. That is insane. Now, I don't know IronMouse, but from the way she has publicly carried herself over the years, I think she would be very, very offended by what you're trying to do here. You are trying to shame her into basically bending to your will because you have an issue with some of the assets, the fictional assets that Kevin has made. And again, you are within your right to not like those things and to be disgusted by whatever it is, whether it's like the fact that he uses a Marin Kitagawa model for some of his assets or the assets themselves. It's fine not to like those things, but just block and move on. But instead of blocking and moving on, you try to attack, shame, and financially hurt him, which is ridiculous. It goes too far. But this whole thing of blocking and moving on, even the people who are either being blocked by Kevin or blocking Kevin themselves are still adding to the dog pile. So this artist right here says, since this is trending, I guess I should share my experience. We were mutuals and he blocked me just for commenting on his post where it was revealed that he literally uses rigging templates. Please support riggers who actually rig from scratch. So this is a very odd thing. I've seen a lot of artists comment on this and they say using templates like this is very common. In fact, it's working smarter, not harder. Like, this is not something...
I did mention that before. It's like working smarter, not harder, but at the same time, it's like you will overlook a lot of stuff that needs detailing and such, to the point that once you look at it, once it's done, you'll see that it's a little off and it's gonna show a lot. Just one tiny mistake, or at least one tiny detail missing, can pretty much change the way the art the model moves and whatnot. Like I mentioned before with the whole Iron Mouse's model being changed for the sizing of the template and whatnot to make it easier. Yes, working smarter is great, but working harder also improves quality. At least that's how I do. Yes, sometimes working you can do both, to be honest. Working hard and smart. You can work hard and smart at the same time. You can work smart by using a set of template that you used from a previous model, but you can also work hard by checking and inspecting every single detail of the said model and keep it the way it looks from the PSD file that you were receiving, you received from the artist or the VTuber who commissioned you, and you can keep it the way it is and basically change each single details and make it look smoother. Work hard, work smart. You can do both. But I digress. Let's continue on.
That should be used to shame or criticize Kevin. It's a very unfair thing to do, and it's disingenuous. They're only doing this and trying to demonize it because it's Kevin, and they're trying to attack this guy for its
I don't think it's because Kevin. I feel like a lot of people might do that to other people as well, but I digress.
attention on Twitter. Here's another one where this person said, I kept seeing people blocked by him, so I jokingly checked to see if I was, and I guess I am. I haven't said anything about this creator like once from what I can remember, maybe a comment from legit months ago, but nothing recent. He has to be looking up his own name and blocking everyone he sees. Not gonna lie, that's childish and cringe as hell. Not everyone's gonna like you, but he's free to block whoever he wants. I'm not upset, since I never followed him, I just find it funny. Yeah, he's free to...
This is what I mentioned before about, you know, him possibly looking up his name and blocking everyone who mentions him, but I can't quote on that if he actually has done it. I don't know. Maybe this person said something, maybe not. I can't really say because there's not a lot of information. There's only a screenshot showing her side. Maybe Kevin might say his side, but I don't know. But let's continue on.
Block whoever he wants, and I'm not upset, but I'm gonna make a whole paragraph and a tweet about him blocking me. So people have freedom of association. They can block whoever they want on social media. If they don't want to talk to you, they don't have to talk to you, or if they don't want to engage with your content or have you engage with their content, they're free to block you. That is freedom of association. But it's very odd that you're saying it's childish and cringe to block you while making a whole post talking about it. That is childish and
I feel like it's freedom of speech of stating something about a situation that is currently going on. If they pretty much posted that, they just wanted to state and basically say it. Yes, it might be a little cringe and childish to post it, but at the same time, it's their Twitter, it's their tweet. It can't do a lot of harm to post something about someone blocking you. I mean, I posted someone blocking me for a sole screenshot that I made of a lighting of my model going, you know, light and dark. Let me show you. There has been a little dispute of my model going from isn't it working? Oh, here it is. So there has been a dispute. Oh, whoops. Okay. So there has been a dispute about my model going from this dark mode and light mode, which is the previous one that I showed you. Now, I did mention before that I named these modes like nightmare mode and dream mode. So the nightmare mode is this one, the dark mode, and the dream mode is the one that has light on. Someone called it as me trying to be racist, and I was confused because it's like, it's weird that you're calling a said person of color racist when I am literally a dark-skinned person. I am pretty much dark. Yes, it might not seem that way in the lighting, but if you see me actually in person, then you can see how dark I am. I actually have color on my skin. And they blocked me because I said, and I stated that I am a person of color, and they assumed to bash me after they blocked me on their Twitter, saying that, oh my gosh, they're trying to make me into a bad person, and they're continuing on about talking about me like, oh my god, get over it. And I'm like, I'm over it, but you're the one continuing it and having your followers be like, yeah, I support you, that this person is trash for saying this and that. But in reality, I just stated something really simple and like, you know, I'm a person of color. Why would I make a dark person seem evil? Like, that's childish. It's honestly childish. But I digress. Now, I did post that, but I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It was when I started VTubing with my first model that I had. But let's continue on.
Cringe. But people in the comments say, Kevin is nice, so I don't know. And the VTuber responds saying, I don't think he is. He makes inappropriate assets and demonstrates them on an underage character. He practically scams his clients with his rigs, and I've seen him respond to criticism very negatively most of the time. So there's a lot to unpack in a very short statement. So number one, we know what the issue is, okay? It's not about any sort of criticism. It's about the fact that you don't like some of the fictional content he uses with his assets. And on top of that, you make a claim that he is scamming his clients with a practice that is very fair. And on top of that, you say,
Even if it's fictional, it can be used for bad things. But I digress.
he doesn't respond to criticism of, well, you know what, if you were in his shoes, I think you wouldn't respond the best all the time too, because he has literally thousands of people trying to demonize and attack him for clout on Twitter. I doubt you would handle it very well too. But this user would respond saying, honestly, he's been nothing but nice, claiming he's a scammer. You have any evidence to back that up? Because I'd honestly like to see it. Where they write a whole bunch of word salad and at no point gives any evidence that he's a scammer, basically just saying they have a hunch that he is because they don't like him.
I feel like the reason why they said they are a scammer, Kevin is a scammer, it's because the way he charges people for, you know, for the rigging. He charges 2.5K for each rig when he uses a template for it. I feel like that's a scam, charging like $2,000 for a rigging that has already a self-made template, and you just continue rigging the other stuff that's that needs to have, you know, bones to it. You know, I suppose that it's, you know, in a way it's scam. But I digress. Let's continue on.
Moving on, another person would try this tactic, saying since he's finally catching heat, I'll just drop this here. And it's the fact that Kevin is following.
Now, this, when I saw this was stupid. If he's following something named, or a group named End Wokeness, and exposing and fighting and mocking wokeness and whatnot, honestly, I would be following that too, because I would actually and gladly follow that too. It's stupid. Like, this whole situation that's happening needs to be, you know, stopped. So if this person thinking that posting and screenshotting their follows, who he's following, is pretty, it's pretty cringe. I'll say it simple. It's pretty cringe. Checking who he follows and whatnot, it's cringe. It's like basically you're stalking who he follows on the social media just to pretty much give him blast and fire for something you don't agree with that he's following. There's nothing wrong with that. That's pretty childish and cringe. Now that I see pretty childish and cringe, but I digress and I move on.
This End Wokeness account. So they're literally follow policing him now. That's how low it is. Like, that is the lamest thing I've ever seen. A follow doesn't equal an endorsement, by the way, and it's a very, very cringe thing to do. Like, follow policing, that's super lame, and it's a very weird standard. It's basically saying, like, you vouch for everything that account says if you follow for them. It's a really weird standard to work with. But on top of that, we would see some people respond, and I think, and actually...
I did speak about this before on previous stream about how people are pretty much doing artwork about that situation and how they're doing their whole view of the chubby fit. Then the whole art is basically saying that they don't want their art to be changed and whatnot, having their art touched by a certain user. I did mention before that it's disrespectful touching someone's art. It would be best if you just grab a clean slate sheet and, you know, you use the art as a reference and you draw it in your own way and you give the input. By drawing over it or changing the art itself is disrespectful. But I digress.
Productive way. So a lot of people are talking about the definition of chubby, right? And what characters look like chubby, what makes a character chubby is obviously a subjective standard. But instead of attacking Kevin over his chubby fit post, this person leads by example and they make their own interpretation of what they think a chubby / plus size model looks like, and they have it right here. However, even this would attract toxicity from people who are angry about Kevin, where this person would say, here, fixed it up for you, here's some key things you got wrong. And they would literally do a I fixed your art moment right here, where the artist would reply saying, look man, while I very much appreciate your input, I didn't ask for you to directly fix my art. You could have just told me your input without touching my drawing. Chubbiness has different sizes and body shapes to it. It's not a...
I did mention before that their drawing of what seems like a chubby fit or chubby, it was more of a different body type. Yes, some people does have that type of body, but it's because they're bigger. One, they have a little more fat to their body, thick thighs and whatnot. It would be more of a medium or large size. But being a large size does not mean that you're fat or chubby. Some might have a little chub to their tummy area, but it does not mean that you're chubby. You're just large. I'm medium size. I also have a chubby tummy. But I sometimes have a really difficult view of looking at myself and being like, hey, either I'm fat or not. But, you know, I digress. Not many people who look slim or have an hourglass body figure does not mean you're fat. You're just either large or you're just slim with a lot of curves and thickness. But I digress. I move on.
A specific shape. I understand if you're not happy with my work, and I happily told people I'll do more body shapes for plus size models soon, but that doesn't give you the right to revise my work, which is a very fair and appropriate response to what this user was doing, who would deflect all the criticism launched at them by saying, sorry, I have autism.
Well then, I don't remember looking at that, but basically apologizing for something that you did, and you apologize that you have a disorder because of it, it does not excuse it. Just own up for what you did. Simply own up. It doesn't matter if you have a certain way of thinking or you're autistic or whatnot, if you're depressed, just own up to it. I have disorders as well, but I sometimes own up to it whenever I'm capable of it. Sometimes I'm not capable of it because it's really difficult for me, but I try. But let's move on. Let's have this ad over. At the same time, it's like, I don't know, people need to learn how to be able to own up to mistakes and whatnot. I've done a lot of mistakes. I wish that I could do it in a different way, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it can be done, but it sometimes might make it worse. Or sometimes I'm just incapable of it because it's really difficult for me to do so. And the video is running. But let's continue on.
Was doing, who would deflect all the criticism launched at them by saying, sorry, I have autism. Well, eventually Kevin would make a follow-up to all this stuff, explaining what's going on and why they're blocking certain people and what their thought process was with—
This is the same comment and tweet that I saw during the stream that was like minutes ago that it happened, and it was tweeted. And so I found it and I pretty much read it to see the whole situation and how I explained that the both body type figures did not seem chubby or whatnot, or it was like slim and thicker. But let's continue on.
with all these posts. So Kevin says this: different body standards exist. You are quickly projecting and forcing your own onto others. I struggle to gain weight and my art style leans towards skinny. I think chubby is super adorable and my ideal is obviously different from yours. We all have
like I did say before, people have different opinions on what would seem like what and whatnot. But I digress. Let's continue.
problems in real life. I don't know you, I don't represent you, nor am I an authority or your therapist. Deal with it. Also, I blocked you because you use slurs, attack, harass, gossip, and accuse me of R-word and pedo. Your profile is filled with vile words, and you clearly don't enjoy my sense of humor. Here is your explanation. Go.
Not people have the same sense of humor that other people do. Some sense of humors can be either edgy, lighthearted, or dark. Not many people do enjoy some certain things that might seem dark and edgy. I mean, I do like the dark and edgy sense of humor and whatnot, but sometimes there's a limit.
Go check the boxes yourself. To my soldiers, stay tuned for more
And sometimes I just remove myself from it.
epic content. You ain't seen nothing yet. What I'm about to do with this character. In fact, I would make another post after that jokingly saying, guys, what song is this and why is what is she holding? Should I make a VTuber asset? Obviously, poking fun at the controversy they got into a few months over that asset. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this.
So the whole Buzz asset, if people are pretty much getting sensitive over that situation, I feel like they just there's a lot more things that is very horribly done as an asset that's not safe for work, but people don't bash at it, or at least from what I've seen. And it's like, come on, bashing for over this small little Buzz asset, I don't know, it's weird. People are weird, and honestly it's tiring and exhausting. People need to learn how to get over being sensitive, because, you know, the world is not filled with cupcakes and rainbows. So having a little bit of that into an asset is not bad. Yeah, honestly, it isn't. I mean, I've seen some assets that Kev has done, and it's more questionable than that asset. Why has no one pretty much mention about the whole popsicle, ask that he's done. That's questionable. And I consider that not safe for work. It's a little bit sussy. But I digress. Anyways, that's pretty much that Rev said. Like, that's the end of the video. And honestly, it's a whole situation that people like to make. It's exhausting, to be honest. It's pretty much exhausting. People sometimes don't have anything else to do, and honestly, it's just pretty exhausting. And finding a way to give hate to this artist, I mentioned before in my previous stream, just don't give hate. I'm just letting you guys know what's happening in the situation in the VTuber community and whatnot. And having this artist receive a lot of hates considering his huge following, it's not... it's inconsiderate. I'm not condoning it either, because that shit is bad. Imagine if you were in that position yourself. People would not take it kindly. Sometimes they would do a whole lot of shit that's even worse. But from what he's done, I feel like he's just owning up to what that mistake he did. That's fine. People should move on and forget. But you know, this is Twitter or X. People are not gonna. They're gonna find ways to hate on someone. Honestly, it's not healthy. I feel like people should go touch some grass, talk to a therapist. It's really good talking to a therapist. Talking to a therapist does not mean you're crazy. It's actually really good. It helps you relieve all that stress you have pent up. But I digress. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and call the stream here because there's nothing else to talk about the whole situation, and pretty much I just went live because of the situation that's happening. And right now my little bird is here expecting some attentions and cuddles, so I will go ahead and end the stream here. If anything else comes up, I will mention it. I will make a stream again about it if anything else appears, or if there's any new new thing happening, I suppose. But I doubt it, and I hope that I don't see any more of this drama, because honestly, drama can be exhausting. But talking about it, it's pretty good, but also exhausting. I don't kind of want to make my whole thing into drama, but I suppose this pretty much covers it, because it was something that kind of touched me and I wanted to speak about it too. So I will leave it here. I will put a pin on it. Unless other things resurfaces, then I'll probably talk about it a little bit, but not too much into it. But yeah, I will see you sweet lovely moons later. You guys take care and make sure to go outside and get some sunshine. I will probably be doing that with my little bird, unless it stops raining. But I will see you guys later. Ta-ta!